Hey guys, it's been a few months. Some of that is because I've been doing some work behind the scenes. Some of it is because I haven't been doing anything, at least on the bikes. So I got the parts back from Powder Coat, and I also had the seat pan cleaned up a little bit to follow the lines of the frame a little bit better. And while those things were out of Powder Coat and the sheet metal work being done, I also got some of the other parts prepped. I got wheels mounted with some tires, and a bunch of parts cleaned, prepped to go back together. So that's what's next. We'll see how far I can get. I do need to press the bushings into the swing arm, so I may end up doing that tomorrow at work, and we'll see if I end up releasing this video or just doing that at the same time. So without further ado, let's get on it. Here's some of the parts I had powder coated, battery tray, swing arm, things like that. I also had a real hard time finding this battery hold clamp, so I took one off of my 75 H1 and had my sheet metal guy at Element 13, shout out to Brett Sorensen, make these just simple brackets that will, hold the battery. So he did 2 of them for me. He also did all the powder coating for me, as well as had him just do some cleanup on the seat so that it ran along the frame a little bit better. But yeah, as you can see, I got the frame all powder coated. I got the tires mounted to the wheels and loving the way those are looking. Hopefully everything fits well. So let's get the rest of this unwrapped and let's see how much we can get done today. Also, my apologies if you hear the washer and dryer running in the background. A little behind on chores, so doing a little laundry while I unwrap, but hopefully that'll be done soon, so it's not throughout the entire video. And just because I can't resist, let's see what this tank looks like on a freshly powder coated frame. Got the front rim out of the way. Let's get the front end back on. And it still has fresh grease, but I'm going to put a little bit more on there. Just tuck these wires out of the way. And just set that down for a second. Just coat some of this bare metal up in there, get the races wet. Okay, call that good there. I already packed these bearings last time I installed it, but we'll just get things lubed back up. Oops. And my parts are over there. So let's see. Of course, took my glove off and now I want more grease, but whatever. Again, already packed, just getting a little bit more on the outside. So there, clean the grease off real quick. Off some excess. All right. Honestly, I don't know what these are supposed to be torqued to or preloaded or whatever, but just go till it's pretty snug and maybe back off a little. Feels good to me. That stays there because the next thing to put on is the handlebars and upper triple tree. So that's loose. Huh. Okay, well, whatever. All right, let's get rid of the grease. Thought I forgot something. I remembered that I did not install this the last time and set it where I wouldn't forget it, and I almost forgot it again. Okay. Seal. Now we should be able to put on the handlebars. I've been dying to see if these wheels are going to fit. These are off-road, what are they? Bridgestone battle axes, I think, for adventure bikes. And this is obviously not an adventure bike, but it is a scrambler, or at least it's going to be, because I said so. And I don't know if this is going to fit. Oh, thank goodness. I was pretty sure, but not 100% positive. Okay, is that sitting fully? It is. Not even really close to touching. So that is excellent. And I'm almost positive that there will be no clearance issues with the rear wheel. A little bit maybe towards the front of the swing arm. So let me get these on and we'll take a look at that. And not gonna be able to get on that side very easily, so we'll go over here. I'm gonna leave those loose for the moment. Don't let me forget. Secure. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how much of that you were able to see. All right, let's look at the rear wheel. Can you see that? Close enough. So this has to be roughly centered there. Plenty of room. Cool. All right, now the question is, am I going to be able to install the brass bushings in this without the press? So let's see if we can figure that out. Actually, right off the bat, I know you're probably not gonna be able to see it very well because of the lighting. Maybe you can see it. There is some powder coat just on the inside of this, and the brass fittings are gonna be really tight. So I'm gonna take a moment to sand that down to back to bare metal before I even attempt to put those bushings in. A few days later, and I have the bushings pressed in. I was really surprised. I had used the hydraulic press, so I must not have cleared out enough of the powder coating, or maybe it was caught on a burr, or maybe I pushed it in a little at an angle. But nevertheless, everything is in, and it is ready to go on the bike. So let's get it on there. Which way is the bolt? On my other bike, the H2 over there, the bolt's going through on this side. So we will do the same. Oh, dust cover. Let's see, can I get this cover in still? No. Swing arm in. And package arrived while that was being done because I forgot to buy new shocks. So this being a Scrambler, I decided to get, look at my address. Reservoir style shocks. I don't know, I bought the cheap ones, non-name brand, whatever these are, but hopefully it'll give it a certain look. And I like the fact that these are adjustable height. I want it to sit at an angle that looks good, frankly. So hopefully these actually fit. Okay, so no sleeve on that, it looks like. Just push the sleeve out. And then, where do you think the bolts are? I'll be in this bag with the old shocks. Which, quite frankly, I mean, not in the worst shape, not in good shape either, but not a major amount of rust on them. I will save these. Oh, actually, I think my other, the bike I'm putting together, might need those, to be honest. And this hardware is a little crusty, so I'm gonna pause real quick, get out the wire wheel, clean these up real quick, and I'll bring you back. Hopefully I'm not like right in the way. I'm pretty sure I was, whatever. I forgot that I had to find another nut to put in there because this normally has a sissy bar. Okay, those are all bolted on, ready to go. Got my sprocket and cush drive and my brake. So let's see, where's my axle? There it is. I never remember what order these go in, so I put it back. But now I don't remember which goes on the inside, outside, what side that goes on, etc. So I'm gonna go look at one of my other bikes real quick. And this may take a couple trial and errors. But first thing I need to do is get this out of here, and oh, look at all that scratch on my terrible spray paint job. But we can do the assembly outside. See if I can manage to do this without doing that and throwing stuff everywhere. Okay, so I mean, I think I have this laid out how it's supposed to go. These two go on that side, which means that should go like that. And after I knock off the brake, that goes like that, that. Yeah, something, I don't remember where this guy goes. Did I mess up? Is that, oh, does it go on the inside? Is that like a inside spacer? Is that what that is? I think that is what that is. No. Yes. And then, how many times am I going to do that? There we go. That looks better. That still doesn't feel right. Do I need to look this up? It is ever so slightly too fat. So something is not right. That is not fully seated. That would explain it. I am so close. Stay with me. Okay. There we go. Now, side is in. Ha! Okay. Couple gentle taps. A little more aggressive taps. Okay. Sweet. All right, cool. Everything clears. Wheel's a little crooked, but we'll adjust that later when we have some spring tension on it. Let's go ahead and tighten this axle bolt a little bit. Keep you from spinning. Doesn't need to be super tight. All right, I like it. What's next? Do we put the engine in? Is that too premature? I really want to see the engine in. Hopefully I don't kill my back. Okay, confession, I just decided to do it off camera, and as you can probably tell, I'm out of breath. Probably put a few scratches in the powder coat, but whatever, it's in there. And then I've got the little saddle bolts, I guess you'd call them. All right, got my clutch cable that is filthy and I didn't bother cleaning apparently. Just temporarily route you up in there. And you know I can't resist another mock-up. It's not going to stay very well because I don't have the right grommets. Where's my seat? There it is. I think that's going to look pretty awesome, especially with that single-sided exhaust. Nice. Working on putting the rubber parts, all the dampers and everything back in these battery box and associated parts. And I can't really remember where everything went. So kind of first thing I did was put everything together that I know went together. So these little barrels with the rubber parts, and I'm pretty sure those washers all go with those as well. But again, I couldn't really remember how everything went to back together. So one of the tricks I like to use is to find a parts fiche. So if you just search the make, model, year of the vehicle you're working on, and then include parts diagram. I'll put my favorite one for motorcycles up on the screen, but this is where I go. Sometimes depending on which website you go to, you might find better or worse scans. So look around if you can't find a good one. But anyway, that's closest thing I can find to an assembly manual online if you don't have a step-by-step guide. I installed all the rubber off camera and then installed the battery holder, rectifier, regulator, bracket. There's the ignition modules. This regulator rectifier is an aftermarket from Rick's Motorsports. I am not sure, never used one of these before, so this will be a first for me. But I decided to go aftermarket because so many of the original ones, you can see all this potting compound that's in the back of the regulator just starts to leak out. And it actually took me a while because it looks like hardened grease. And with it mounted there, you'll see a lot of swing arms have this drip right here. And it gets hard and it's hard to get off. But anyway, got that going. In case anybody's interested, that zinc coating is fake. I actually used, if I was doing like a factory restoration, I'd probably done it properly, but I just used this Eastwood stuff. It's 3 colored spray paints to kind of make it look like the original stuff. It does, I think, offer some corrosion protection, just like any other paint would, but I think this has zinc in it. I don't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's what that is. A lot of the rubber is not in the best shape, so you can see a little bit of it here. This doesn't have the, well, you're not gonna be able to see it very easily. Doesn't have the backing to hold it in place, so I just kind of glued it down. And yeah, at this point, we're gonna go ahead and start putting all the electronics back in, starting with the M unit that I've got laid out here, and then we'll get some, I painted the foot controls last night. We'll get the foot pegs on, and yeah, we'll just see what else we can get done today. Installing the M unit should be pretty straightforward. I just got to kind of remember exactly how I had things laid out. Looks like this is the rear, and this is going to be the front, and then yeah, I think that went like that. So we'll go ahead and get these mounting screws removed. And I am remembering I have a little bit more fabrication to do because I did not initially mount the, what am I missing? I'm missing a relay for something that I have set aside, and I am needing to replace this switch with something a little bit more permanent that is a kind of a hidden kill switch type deal. Boy, my fingers are too fat to go in from that side, so we'll have to go around and hopefully not lose the lock washer. There we go. Got that one in, and then over here I have the negative battery cable, which, that's gonna ground that. I think I need I need to find a little star washer to ground this out. get through the powder coating, which I'm not sure I have. It may be unnecessary because I have other grounds, but it would be nice to have the direct battery. So yes, I do need to find that. Couldn't find the star washer types that I was looking for, so I just used the normal lock washer and I tested everything. So, well, that's not hooked to ground yet, but everywhere on the chassis that, ooh, that coil's not, nor is that one. That one is. So, might need to reset these a little bit to dig into the powder coating a little bit, but everything else, that's rubber isolated. So actually, yeah, I remember now, I had to run a ground up to these, but everywhere else on the chassis that needs a ground seems to be working, so we're calling that good. And now, that's my battery. So this is my front cable, which, let's see, I'll make sure all of these grounds are happy, and I believe I had all of those going to that bolt there. This feels a little strained. I want that on the other side. So that'll all get tucked. I believe this I had running along the right side. You're running along the left side. And then those went there. How do I know what's left and right? By the color code. So green, I believe, I may want to test. So we'll loosely leave those there. Let's find you a ground screw. Is that long enough for all four? Probably. These are nice and thin. You. To kind of be clocked so they look nice. Go that way. Okay. Now, these go under. Let's see. Did I have two go into the front? Yes. Yes. This one goes. No. Did I have two going to the front? Where do these go? This one goes to the headlights. Got it. Okay. So that one ran on that side. This one to this side, I think. And I want that to go there. Through that. Down. And then did it go up under? that. That needs to go around. That side of the coil. In and struggling to remember which is which. Okay, we've got black. I think this one actually goes to this one. Why didn't I flip those around so that one was male and one was female? That would have made it dummy proof. Oh, because I'm using the factory harnesses, which, yeah, that makes more sense. That's got, which one has turn signal? That one, so that's that, right? And then, wow. Thought my memory would be sharper on this as to what goes where, and or color codes would help, but again, I'm remembering now that I used a combination of factory harness and my own genius. Let's see, so that's got to be a black to black connection. We got a red that goes to headlights. Can you even see what I'm doing? Barely. Is this interesting when you can't see? Probably not. So, let me just show you what I've got going on here. I've got multiple of these 4 connector, 2 of those, and then a bunch of loose wires that I have to plug in. And then similarly with the headlight, and man, I don't remember what that purple guy goes to. So I may end up doing some of this off camera to save you the headache of my poor planning and poor memory. This one's a little bit more straightforward because there's only one thing not plugged in, and that's the seat that goes to that with the tail light and brake light. And oof, careful. So I'm going to save you the torture of watching me connect the electronics, which is slow and repetitive, and we're just gonna move on to some other things while we're here. Including the foot controls. So last night I put a coat of paint on these because the chrome looked terrible, and I also just kind of felt like the chrome might not look right. Oh, I did not do a very good job of coating that. You can see I maybe missed some right there. Might fix that in post, but that's my shift lever, which I did for some reason decide it was important to mask the rubber. Whatever, looks fine. All right, so that goes there. Where's the rest of the leverage? See if I can put on this E-clip without launching it. I need a pair of pliers. Okay, that is good. We've got the bolt that it goes on that needs to be greased. Has anybody seen my grease? I cannot apply grease without getting it everywhere. Okay. Ooh, that hole feels like it might need to be gone through with a tap real quick. Let's try. Now we're good. You can actually see that this bolt is ever so slightly tweaked as it's spinning. It's kind of going woo woo. Wow, that's taking forever. I don't know why I felt the ratchet would be faster. Slightly more comfortable anyway. Alright, and then lock nut on the back. That's probably smaller size. Yep, it's a 14. Lock that guy on. Wipe up the excess grease. Oh no. Did I screw myself? No, there we go. Although I probably should have installed this at the same time, because now it doesn't want to bend outward. Yeah. Now I need to adjust the height, I guess. So where do I want it? There-ish. Where's it at on my other bikes? This guy, get those there. Still doesn't want to fit. Okay. So something like that ish. Can also adjust somewhat there. So we'll try that and see how that looks. You can already tell that's going to be too high. No, maybe not. Okay. Got that on. Yeah, that looks high, but can adjust it later. Let's get this guy on. Gotta make sure you line up the strain relief. And get him seated. Not sure where the screws are at this point. Right. Cool. Those, put some washers on them just to be safe. Safe from what? I don't know. Now, so both of these should have gaskets technically. I don't have them at the moment. Part of the reason why I put washers there. But we're gonna leave that as is for the moment. Also just realized I installed all that, still have that cover to go on, so that's gonna have to come off later, which is annoying because I don't have a chain, but whatever. So then this guy runs along here, up over here, plugs into a little bit of this, a little bit of that. How does that route? Must go up and over, I guess. That seems reasonable. Does it? Or does it wants to go under? No, there's not really any where to go under. So you go like that. And then green for ground, red for power. And that'll get tucked up something like that. And then still need to make a battery cable. This gets to go nicely there. There's my neutral wire. Okay, there's that foot peg. Let's come over to the other side. Hope you can see okay there. We've got brake stay bracket. What did I do with the brake lever? There it is. That goes there. This guy comes off, and I need to remember goes through that way. Yes. This, I also put a zinc coating on it, or I guess technically galvanizing. Just something to help prevent the corrosion, look a little bit more uniform. To be honest, it looks a little goofy because it made it look like it's fake aluminum, but I don't know, trying to do a little something a little different on this and make it a little bit less intense on the restoration side, or make it a little bit more usable, I guess. A lot of my other bikes, I put so much time and effort to replacing every little thing to make it perfect, and then is this gonna go in? Okay, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Come on, you got this. Okay, I was a little worried about the brake stay bracket being in the way, but looks like we're clear. And then we'll get that bracket installed. Don't really remember which direction this goes. I think this was on the brake end, so this must be the swing arm end. Oh, that one's missing a cotter pin, which makes sense. So leave it up in there. I think the bolt probably wants to go from this side. That seems awfully long. Both bolts are pretty lengthy. All right, legs. Looking at my other H bikes to see why this is so difficult. Interfering with the spokes and can't get the bolt all the way through. we go. Confirmed this goes on the outside. Lock washer, nut. And that's got a little nipple to keep it in the right place. Good. You am I tightening that? Yes. No. Ugh. Oh my goodness. All right, those are in. Let's go find a couple cotter keys. Okay, that's in. Next, we move on to the brake lever. And let's see, I'm not entirely sure what the best way to do this, so we'll put that on loosely. Pull you out. And then we just rotate you. Ideally, that barrel would go in from that side, but really doesn't feel like there's enough room to get it in. But going through this way, looks like it's going to rub on the frame a little bit. A little longer than it needs to be. Whatever, it'll be fine. Am I recording? Okay, good. You're kind of in my way as I look for some pliers to help me out. And then this cotter key is way longer than it needs to be, so I'll do some pre-installation trimming. Hope not too much. And rotate Wow, they don't make this easy to get to, but I have succeeded. All right. Brake pedal. And let's see, do I need to get the brake pedal installed? Wow, did I? Yeah, paint doesn't like to stick to chrome very well, so this is inevitable, but whatever. How's that feel? Guess I should probably get this fully adjusted first. Oh, is this even in the right spot? That should probably come back more. Yeah, I think this guy probably wants to be Let me look at another bike. Yeah, this looks like it's pretty much straight up and down on other bike. So let's adjust him real quick. I think that's going to be a little better. What end does the spring go on? It is that end, right? Yeah, so that, should that go even further back? Because this, yeah, that wants to be like on the spring to help push it back after you pull it. So I feel like this guy really wants to be even further back. Is that crazy? And then you step on the brake and that lifts that up. No, because then this is kind of rubbing on the swing arm. We can't go too far forward because then you will literally hit the upper end of the swing arm. So I feel like this guy wants to be, I bet you the manual tells me exactly how to adjust it. Just seems like there sure is a lot sticking out the back here of this rod. Is that spring supposed to be longer? I bet you that's part of the problem. That spring does look short. But if I go like that, and then install you somewhere in that area, pretty far down. I don't want that hitting my case. But that's so far down to get pressure. Let's do this. Let's go up. Is this the right lever? It goes up under this. Let's get the foot peg on first. In the slot. Is it? Kind of. Yep. It's going there. Okay. Now, I think this goes under the foot peg. I don't think this is the right foot peg. I'm gonna have to like friggin' stand on that to get it to do anything. No, I just make the adjustment. But still, it looks way far down. That pegs, there we go. Now it's straight up and down. Is this the right foot peg? Like, why does nothing seem to work? Well, oh no. Forgot to install this, which goes on the inside. Dang it. Oh well, that's not that much to get that out, is it? Probably will have to undo that, which is going to be easier to do on this side. Or that. And rotate you around. Now I have to remember how that goes. And I think it's definitely that way. Why am I struggling? I think that might be the wrong foot peg mount for this year. Or wrong lever. This thing did have some funky foot pegs on it when I got it, so wouldn't surprise me if those are wrong. And then this wants to put pressure on this. And the appropriate orientation is going to be, where does that spring want to live? Is there like a hole? No. Oh, there is. Haha. Okay, perfect. Now, grease. Now foot peg. Let's see, I want it like that, so. Need to go I feel like I want this. Right there. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that. That goes all the way on. This goes like that. And then you are going to pull forward, so I want you as far out as I can get you. Like that. I am pretty sure that spring is just too small. Okay, that's got some pedal feel. Call that good for the moment. I know myself, I'm going to tighten these up now, because if I tell myself I will adjust it later, and therefore tighten it later, I will forget. That's not the right size. And that's not either. Okay, what else is left? Should probably work on the wiring for a bit, and carburetors can go back on. I'm reusing the side cover rubber, so this one had to do a little repair on with some rubber, and it is not holding very well. Yeah, this thing's entirely about to fall apart. But once the side cover's on, it actually should just be fine. Yeah, this shifter definitely needs some adjustment. All right, wiring. I need to order a chain. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I have to pull the front wheel off. Reason being, one, I forgot a seal and this little dust cover, chrome dust cover. And more importantly, take a walk with me. We're walking. So I did the modification to put the EX 250 or 500 Ninja caliper on it. Problem is, it doesn't mount this way, so the forks actually have to be flipped and, or wait, hang on. Was it the forks flipped, or did I have it and I just need to flip the wheel? See, that goes like that. We want it on this side. That doesn't work. Does it? If it's on... hang on, where's my bracket? So this has to be on the outside. This is the adapter bracket that bolts something like that to give this an extra leg, and then one bolt goes in here. It goes like that. Now if it's on this side, why do I not? Let's take another walk. Leaving the stand. How do I get to that bike? Okay, so that is how it's mounted on this bike. So you can see the forks are flipped around. You can also see the small caliper piston is in the front and the larger piston is in the rear. And I've read that you want it the opposite. So ideally, that would be, oh, I have the whole thing. Do I have the bracket on upside down? Well, there's your problem, or at least part of it. This caliper bracket is on the wrong side of the caliper. And then these are on the wrong side. But something, all right, taking it offline. I need to figure out how to mount that bracket properly, figure out if I need to have that tire flipped around, because it is a directional tire, if the rotor needs to be on the opposite side. So I'm going to do that off camera, as well as figure out some of the wiring. All right, once I had the bracket flipped around, everything seemed to go together a little bit more smoothly. So I think this is what we want. It's a little snug on the fitment, but everything seems to be working and lining up. So maybe crisis averted, hopefully.
This is the part of the movie where the credits have ended, the music fades, and pure annoyance begins to set in as you realize it ended in a cliffhanger. But suddenly the fog dissipates and our hero emerges. Against all odds and with very few extra parts, the Scrambler lives again. Or at least it's put back together. And don't worry, the next episode is already in the works. After receiving unsolicited electrotherapy, I have new ignition coils on order, and if all goes according to plan, another episode will be posted very soon. Hopefully before the ball drops in 2026. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.